Hello students, give your day meaning by setting your goal, then work towards achieve your goal. Wishing you a very good morning my dear students. I welcome you all for day 9 orientation program. So now I request Professor Karthik to introduce our guest.
Hi, good morning all. Today's speaker for the day is Architect Divya, who's who's a faculty of SRM, but not our campus. She's from the campus of Ramapuram. So know about Divya, like she is an architect. She completed her master's in 2018, and she's been teaching in SRM for past 3.5 years. Apart from her interest in architecture, art became her passion from her very own beginning of her childhood. Being a prospector in SRM, she also has conducted a lot of workshops in Chennai, both in online and physical mode. And she also has done a lot of workshops on acrylic pouring, dot mandala workshops, acrylic painting, watercolor, etc. And she has also taken a lot of classes for kids. So during this pandemic, she has conducted a numerous number of workshops. I have a very huge list of workshops here, but still and she has also mastered her resin and watercolor art. So now over to you, Divya. You just start your.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very nice introduction. Hello, guys. It's nice to meet you all, the young aspirants. I hope you are all having a very wonderful day. So, yes, before I waste my time, let's go to a watercolor session. So just give me a minute. I will just switch my camera. So hello guys, so for the watercolor workshop, what all the things you needed is watercolor paper. That is, it will be different from normal paper. You can see the paper thickness. The GSM of the paper will be like 240 GSM and plus. So that like that paper only you can able to use. Why? Because since it's going to be a water medium, the paper will not shouldn't get so much of smudgings, or else the paper will get toned. So that only we will use the thick colors, thick color paper. So, and then what you need is the brushes. As you can see, a lot of pointed brushes will be used for the watercolor. Only the flat brush will be used for the background to give the smudging mediums and all. Other than that, you can use the pointed brushes to give a very good detailings. And then you can use any type of watercolor. Either this is the basic watercolors, which will be available in all these stationery shops, or you can use these kind of paste. So this one is a very better medium to give a professional look and all. So this medium, either thing you can use. So for the beginners, you can use this itself for just for the practicing purposes. Other than that, what you need is you need a palette for mixing the colors, paints, and then you need tissue to wipe the brushes now and then you need 2 glasses of clear water. As you can see, you need 2 glasses. Why? Because watercolor works on pure water medium. If the water becomes dirty, if you are using that dirty water, it will mix with the color what you want to do, and then it will just overlap the color, and the color tone will totally change. Okay, so before we get into the watercolor medium, you need to know about the difference between the acrylic paints, watercolor, and then oil paints, poster colors. So acrylic paint is like if you paint once, you can repaint it over and over again once it becomes dry. The same thing for the oil paint, you will be adding layers over the oil paint and it will take a lot of time to dry. But poster color is similar to watercolor, but the thing is that its medium will be thick like an acrylic paint. You can once you paint it over, again if you add water and then paint it over it, the poster color also will get mixed up. But if you take watercolor, it completely work on the transparent thing. That is, you will add more of water and the liquid itself will be looking like a transparent thing, and it will take time to dry for each medium since we will be adding a lot of water. And also if you're adding another color over it, it will mix with that color. That is, even though if it is dry, if you're adding water to it, that color will get mixed. That is the beauty of the watercolor, and it will look some beautiful natural sceneries and all can be done. Even the portraits can be done. That watery transparent medium, it's one beautiful techniques which will be used by an artist. So first thing what you want to know is how to use the medium. Say for example, I'm just going to wet my brush in the water, And then if I wipe my brush, that is, it is going to be somewhat dry. It is not going to be flowy. And then I'm going to take any paint. Say if I'm going to take violet, my brush is wet. It is not, my brush is semi-wet. It is not totally dry, wet. So if I use minimum of water, then you can able to see how the color tone is coming. Okay. So you can able to see the stroke lines. So this is how it will be when your brush is not too much of wet. It is a semi-wet. If I'm going to take lot of water, if I'm going to dip my brush inside the water, and if I'm going to use the paint, you can able to see how watery effect it is going to give. Okay, so the difference between these both is, this is going to be the first medium you will be giving for any painting. Okay, after that only you will be adding the thicker layer to it to give the details. So once this medium is dry, you will dry your brush, you will wet it, and then you will wipe it in a tissue or a waste paper, and then you will take that same color in a very thicker manner, and then you will be adding details to it. You can able to see how the details are coming. So for the watercolor, the first basic thing is you will be giving a base color for all the paintings. After giving the base color only, you will be doing for the further detailings. So first thing, let's start with the basic flowers. Okay, flowers, since the flowers are like on different shapes and sizes, you will get some beautiful patterns with the flowers. For that, one simple and easy technique is that I have taken a lot of water in my brush. I'm not wiping my water. With that water, I'm going to draw a petal shape. Okay, let me just use my pencil and show you. So this, how I have wetted this petal means this shape. Okay, in this shape, I have wetted my petal. That is like this, you need to wet your petal in this shape. So like that, I have wetted here. Don't take a huge amount of water, just take minimal amount of water so that the paint has to spread. So once it is wet, now you will take a color. Okay, and then if I keep it over here, what happens, you can able to see how the paint is getting spread. So after few minutes, what will happen, it will just spread to the portions where all the water has been done. Okay, this is one beautiful technique which can be done to derive whatever the design you want with the very wet technique. So by this, let's do a flower. So first I'm going to take and then draw a petal shape. I'm going to draw all the petals. Make sure that the petals are not getting connected in the center. So that what happens, if you're giving the color, that color will go and mix with the next petal. It won't come and spread with the petals which you wanted to spread. So just draw the petals. Make sure you're not taking so much of water. It should be enough. That is like a medium kind of water is enough. So I have taken 5 petals. And then I'm taking the color. Make sure it is also kind of wet, not a dry or something. So I have taken the color and then I'm going to just drop it in the center of it. You can see how the paints are getting spread. So for this only I told you, you need a pointer brush so that you are just going to keep it in the edge of the flower. Okay, and you need to wait until this petal dries off, and then only you will be giving the center details. Why? Because if it is wet, if you are mixing some other color, that color will easily get mixed up with this thing. So make sure you don't disturb this flower, keep it aside, and then you can start with other colors. Just a minute. So again, I'm going to do another pattern. You can do whatever pattern you want. That is like the flower petal shapes. It need not to be in the same droplet kind of thing. It can be any different shapes also. That depends upon your wish.
but the technique is same. First water it and then give a paint color. Okay, and then you can take some other color. Say for example, I'm going to take red. Okay, this petal I just smudged it off, never mind. It will just, see, once it is getting dried, it will be coming like this type of pattern. You can able to see wherever I have kept the water, the color will just travel till the end of it and then get it smudged. This one I just smudged with my palette, so never mind. So after it is dry, now you can give the details to the center. Say if I'm going to take a brown color, this thing can be a semi-solid one, not a very thick one or not a very liquid flow. And then you can give some details. Okay. So first layer we have given. The next layer, you can take same violet color and then you can add the darker details. Like this. So this is how a very easy flower that can be done. Okay. In the center of the red also, you can give some yellow color. Yellow and red will get mixed up automatically. Like this you can give. So this type of flowers you can give for some whole pages or something. So after that you can give some stems to it. I'll just show you the final output, how it will come. So before that, let's do the stem of it. For the stem, I'm going to take some small pointed brush, as you can see, like this. And then it is, say for example, the number 2 brush you can take, so that the tip will be very sharp. It will be easy also for you to draw. For any minute details, for any, even for the botanical or any natural sceneries or the portrait kind of thing, the minute detailings or the vegetations, say for example, the stems, the leaves and all will be done using these kind of brushes, because if you're taking the large brushes, the water will be more and you cannot give a precise detailing for that. So you can take whatever the green you want. You will be having 3 kind of green. So mostly for the vegetation, it is preferred to have sap green. That is, the name of the green is sap green. It will be written in this tube actually, sap green. The green, if you see, it will be kind of a mixture of yellow and green. This green is usually used for the vegetation. Yep, this kind of green. I'll just, you can able to see how this green is coming. Okay. Add some water to it, because for the stem also you will be needing 2 layers. One is the lighter thing which you will draw. These kind of stem. So since the stem is going to be little more thin, you need a small brushes for that. Okay, you can use your little finger for your balance. Okay, when you are just moving your brushes, if you're not comfortable with drawing without any, like, see, if you are very comfortable to draw by having their hands in the air, they can just paint along the direction easily. If you're not comfortable with this one, you can have your little finger beneath your sheet, and then you can have your very perfect lines. Okay, this will help you to draw it. So this is the first layer. As you can see, it is actually light, and then there is no difference in tone which you can see. Okay, I'm going to take the same color, but without adding so much of water. You need to fix the light source. Okay, which side the light source are going to be, the opposite side. You just need to darken it out. That's all. So it will have a 3D kind of scenery. That's all. So after that, you can add the leaf. For the leaf, it is preferred to add a slight of yellow. Okay. As you can see, I have a slight yellow over here. I'm going to take a pinch of yellow with it, and then I'm going to mix the green. You can see a slight yellowish green will be there. That color will give a very beautiful hue. The brush stroke will be like, see, I will just show you here. Start with the pointed edge. When you are going to the middle, press your brush, and then when you are coming to the end, leave it. So that it will be having this kind of impression. The same way you will do for the other side. Start with the pointed brush. When you're coming to the middle, press your brush. When you're coming to the edge, you will be again coming to the pointed thing. Once this leaf is dried out, you will use your tip of your paintbrush, and then take your darker green, that is without adding any colors to it, and then you will give a central line and details. Trust me, watercolor will take time to dry for each layer, so you need to be patient. You can use a blow dryer also for drying purposes, but don't blow it very hardly, because if you're having so much of water, it will just move out of the line. After this one, you can just add the central line and then give the details. A simple leaf details only. These kind of details. Okay. I'll just do it again over here. For the leaf, you can add a little more of water for the base thing, and then start with the pointed edge, press it up, and then loose it. Again, start with the pointed edge, press it, and then loose it, so that you will have a very beautiful leafy shape. Okay, wait until it gets dried, and then you can use your darker green. See, so I'm going for the center lining, I'm going to take the direct green only. I'm not adding any colors to it, and also the water also. The brushes will be holding the water, that is fine. So just take a very small amount of watercolor in the tip of the brush, and then you can add the details. How can you can able to see how thin the line is, right? This thin line can be arrived only by using a small 1 or 2 brush only. Other than that, it will have a very thick round finish. The brushes will not be so much sharp pointed, so it won't be looking good. These kind of lines can be given. Okay. So like this, you can see this is the flower with more number of gaps that has been done, and this is the flower with a very minimal amount of distance, that is gap in the center has been done. You can see the first thing what I have done is I have just used the water to get into the shape, and then I have done some 6 petals first with the water alone, and then I have used yellow in the tip and then waited until it got dried, so that it got dried till the end point of this droplet. After that, I used red alone in the center to get this very minimal amount of mixture of red and yellow here. Okay, like this you can able to achieve different kinds of patterns.
Divya, we have a question. Can you draw the leaf again? There is
Yes,
a query
sure,
from the-
sure. Yes, sure. So for the leaf, what you need to take is, you can add yellow and green. Okay, that is, I showed you the green color, right? If you're not having the sap green, if you're having this palette, you can just mix this green, that is the darker green and the yellow. Okay, darker green, you can just mix your darker green here. Add water and then mix it, and then add yellow. Now you will be getting a kind of a light green. So take water, that is like more of water is needed for the base thing. I have wetted my brush, and then what you do, in the starting of this point, that is when you are starting, you don't need to give any pressure to your brush. Okay, start with the tip of your brush. When you're coming to the center, give some pressure, automatically the brush will bend. Again, when you're going to the enter, take away that pressure and then end it with your tip of your brush. Start like this, give pressure, end without the pressure. This is one side of the leaf. For the other side also, repeat the same process. Start with the tip of the brush, give some pressure, end it without the pressure. Okay, now you have gotten the full leaf. So you need to wait until this medium has dried out, then only you can able to give the details. You can wait for 2 more minutes because it needs to be completely dry, or else what happens, this one I have done without the first medium has dried up. So you can see the lines, how it got smudged off. This is what will happen. So this is the medium which got dried, and then this one without drying. You can see the difference. This is what will happen. So once it is semi-dry, now you can take a dark green directly. Don't take a lot of water, and then you can draw the center point with a very sharp tip. Draw the inner divisions also. In the during kit time, you will be drawing the leaf like this. That's it. Like this. I hope you have understood this one. If you want me to repeat, I can repeat again. The same for the base, what you can do is, if you want to give the brown color base, you can take the brown and then you can give the land. Make sure it is watery for the base thing, and then you can add the details. So once this medium is dry only, you can use the dark color for the detail. Just the darker layer over the top alone. That will automatically get smudged. Okay. Even the grasses can be given. For the grasses, you can take the mixture of green and yellow, and then just the brown is not dried. After it's dried, it will be coming. Just these kind of stroke. Like in the pencil shading, you will be giving, right, pressure and then leave it off. This kind of thing. The same pressure you will be giving for your brush for your grasses also, or you can use your fan brush. If you're having a fan brush, then it is easy for you to do the grasses. Just a stroke with one brush is well enough. It will give you some 3 to 4 strokes. So you just need to give these kind of grassy effects for your landing. crisscross, that's all. You will get it like this. It's not it right. Okay, and one more important thing for the watercolor is that if you're going to draw any kind of like these kind of botanical thing or any portrait kind of things, your sheet should be in a horizontal flat surfaces. Why? Because since you are using the water, if you are keeping your sheet in a vertical way or in a slanting way, the water what you're going to keep will get flow towards the downer direction, so it will get spoiled. So always make sure that your surface is very much flat. But if you're going to have any backdrop, that is for your background wash and all, I will next thing we are going to do that. For the background wash, it is okay to keep in a vertical way, because when you are going to add the backdrop, you need to get that background, like that is for the night scenery, day scenery and all. We will do a scenery by the end of the session. I will tell you what helps you if you are keeping your sheet in a vertical way also. Okay, next thing we are going to draw a rose. Okay, another beautiful thing in the watercolor is drawing a rose. For that, and one more thing, make sure you clean your water now and then. If your water is dirty, you take a new water for it, because if your water color is slightly like this, let us like it is like a light orange only, but if I'm going to take this water and do, you can able to see the slight change of color will be there, the orangish color. If you're going to mix it with any of the color, it will just mix that orange color with that color and it will spoil the design. So always clean your water and use fresh water. So for the rose, what you need to take is, again, I'm going to take a very small brush. Okay, this is enough for the rose. Take that same brush. I'm going to draw a red rose. So take the red palette, mix the color. You can take a lot of red here because the full rose is going to be with the red. I'm going to mix it. First, in the beginning of the rose, it can be, your brush can be semi-wet, but after this first layer, your brush should be little watery. You will know when you do it. Yes, so I have mixed the water. Now I'm going to slightly wet my brush and then just dip it in tissue and then take the red paint directly. Okay, now first thing how it is going to come means you're going to draw the smaller C kind of thing. Okay, very small C. After this C, in the upper direction, another C, like this. Okay, remember how I taught you the leaf thing, that is pressure and then you need to leave it and then like tip and then this pressure and then again leave it. This kind of thing only, it will be fully for your rose also. So now you can take water in your brush, dip it in that solution. That is, I have dipped in the solution what I have taken, and then now my brush is kind of a soft thing. So after this, what I'm going to do is, in between, so the line will be like this one. Say, I'll just draw here. First thing will be like this. This C will be like this. Next C will be kind of like this. The other layer will be starting in between these lines. The next line will be starting like this one and then covering like this. So this gaps will be covered. Okay, can you able to see this line? In between these two lines, another layer will be there. In between these two lines, another layer will be like this only. It will go in a round way. So after this layer, so here is the gap. So I'm going to start my petal over here. Start with a thinner thing, give pressure and then finish it off. Okay. Same way, another one I'm going to start from here. Start with a pointer, give pressure and then leave and then finish it in the pointed thing. So now these two edges are here. Now I'm going to draw another layer over here, this side. So you can tilt your paper. So start with the point, give pressure, and then finish it up with the edge. Now you can see how the rose is getting developed. Again take the paint. So I'm going to draw one in between here. Like this. Another layer will be coming over here. You can draw a bigger petal also in the outer layer, or three layers each. Get it to count, like this layer is 1 2 3, another layer is 1, again another 1 2 will be coming here, 3 will be coming there, like that. 3 petals for each string. The next petal will be here. So how much big you want your rose to be, that much big you can go. Make sure the lines are having this white, that is the white gaps in between. Okay, these gaps are mandatory because that will implies the rose. I mean, the rose petals are getting folded. It's like not an exact realistic image of a rose. It will be like an abstract only. Okay. So like this, you can just develop your roses. Let's do another one color. Going to use, we have done with red, the contrasting color. Let's take yellow. So I'm just going to mix the yellow, same how we have done the red. The first layer will be dark. The center portion of the rose will be dark. Okay, in yellow the darkness of the yellow will not be seen very clearly, but make sure it is not flowing. That's all. The movement of the brush gives a lot of designs. However you tilt your brush and then give the stroke, that much effect will be given by the brushes. So you need to learn the brush strokes. Okay, that will help you a lot with your watercolor. For your acrylic color, you don't need to learn your the brush strokes and all, because if you are doing any mistakes also, you can just overlap it. Once the paint get dry, you can correct the mistakes now and then. But if you have done any mistake in your watercolor, it will be difficult for you to change the mistakes, because whatever the medium you're going to use it over the same surface, it will get mixed up only. It won't get overlapped. So watercolor will have some difficulties if you're not handling it properly. And one more important thing is that in watercolor, you need to first fix where your highlights are going to come. Like say for example, if you're going to do a portrait or any realistic 3D objects, or anything you want to show it in a 3D way, whatever it is, what will happen in your normal like acrylic paints, first the darker color tones will be given for your other mediums. But for your watercolor, what you need to do is first you need to fix your highlight. For your pencil shading, you would have learned, right? If it is going to be a sphere, you will be fixing a spotlight. That is, you will be shading completely, and then you will just erase this portion and give a highlighter. So that will be done for everything. If you are taking the acrylic color also, first you will give the darker tone, and then you will take your white, and then you will mix it up, and then you will just smudge the layer with this one, and then you will finish it up. But if you are going to do it this one in the watercolor, you will be leaving this white space first itself. So when you're giving the colors, first thing what you will do is you will give the light colors, light tone completely without touching this white spot, and then you will take the darker tones and then you will be adding it in the sides. So it is always from light to dark with leaving the highlight. Highlight should be left untouched from the starting. This white spot cannot be touched at all because you cannot give a highlight in the watercolor in the later stages. So first you need to fix where your highlight is going to come. Even for the portrait images, for the faces and all, if you're doing any pencil sketches or any acrylic paints, you will be doing the darker tones, and then for the highlights, you will erase it off. But for your watercolor, you will be adding the lighter tone first completely for your face. That is the base medium. Like this, how you have given the watery medium, what we have given, like that you will be creating a base, and then you will be adding a slight details with your tip of your brush with the darker tone. Like that only you can able to add the darker tones. Okay, so this is the rose. The same way you can do it for several colors, and then you can give the stems and the leaves. So this thing can be done. So let's see how we can draw a plant. That is, sorry, a tree. How a tree can be done. So for the tree, you can take a round brush, a pointed brush in a bigger scale. See, this one is 14, size 14. So I'm going to take this brush. So for this one, I'm going to take a very clean water. Always change your water now and then for your watercolor. So now I'm going to take the yellow and then orange, burnt umber. Say now, this one. These three colors I'm going to take. Okay, this is the Gamberg hue, yellow color, orange, and then burnt sienna. These three colors I'm going to use these three colors. I'm going to do a tree. If you're not having these three colors in this palette, you can use this yellow, and then you can mix. See, don't take the direct orange. Even for this one, we are not going to take the direct orange. It is going to be a mixture of yellow and orange only, and then this brown. Okay, you can take this brown. So all the colors what you're going to use in the watercolor, we are not going to use the color directly. Always it will be mixed of some two colors. That is, if you're going to take the yellow layer first, I'm not going to take the direct yellow and then mix it there. I'm going to mix a tinge of orange with it, and then only I'm going to use it. So let's say I'm going to take the yellow. These colors are already mixed, but I'm going to take a new yellow just for your reference. So this is the pure yellow which I have taken. So I'm going to wet my brush completely. Okay, I'm not going to wipe it off. I need this wet medium. So I have wetted my brush. So I'm going to take this yellow and then mix it in a separate palette. Okay, you can see how watery this palette is coming. Okay, and then a very tinge of orange. Say if you're going to take 90% of yellow, 10% of orange should be taken. Okay, you can able to see the difference between this and then this color, this yellow and then this orangish yellow. So now mix water. So this is going to be the base. Just dab it so that your top will be having the yellow. Leave some gaps so that trees will be having center spaces, right? Those things. Okay, so dab it and then you can able to see how watery the medium is. So first layer should be this much watery, and then only you will be adding the details to it. For the autumn, we will do two types of trees. One in the during the autumn time, another one with a greenish, like a normal tree. So it will be looking good. Let it be looking like a bush kind of thing. So I'm just finishing it off with a smaller thing, kind of a dense. So when it is going to end here, where the branches are going to start, I'm just going to make it like a little smaller. Trees are irregular shape. It is not having any constant shape. So don't worry about if it is this shape or not. It's going to be a little abstract always. Yes, so first layer of yellow and a slight of orange has been done. Next thing, let it dry a little bit, okay? If you're having excess of water, you can just use and take it with your very dry brush. Take a very dry brush and then keep it over a heavy water medium. The brush will actually suck in all the excess of water. It will make it easy to dry, but don't do that because the real tone will get affected. I'm doing this because of the time constraint, or else you can just wait until the stone gets dried off. Okay, so let's just keep it aside. Now what color I'm going to mix it? Now we are going to take orange and then mix yellow with it. First thing, we took yellow and mixed orange. So there is going to be a slight difference. So this is the orange. Okay, I'm going to take the orange. And then I'm going to take yellow with it. You can take a lot of yellow because this is the second layer only we are doing. So it will be little darker than this tone. After this only we will be taking orange and umber, and then we will give a very thick highlights. So yes. So now you can able to compare it. This is the yellow, and then this is yellow orange, and then this is orange yellow. So how we are going to give the details for this means, I'm just going to dab it in the bottom of it. Like this one. Because in the trees, the upper portion will be lighter and then bottom will be darker, right? Because of the sun direction, the bottom will always be darker, the same technique only. So bottomness, you can just add just dab it, don't give any strokes, okay? You just need to dab it over it so that only you will have this kind of finish. If you are going to paint it, you will be getting this kind of finish. You can able to see the difference, right? Sorry. You can able to see the difference. We don't want this. We are just going to dab it over the water medium to get a good tone. You can give some highlights here and there because of the up and down in the trees. This bottom layer is dried off completely. So this is the second layer. Okay. Now the detailed layer will be starting. For this medium needs to dry off completely. The detail will be the darker tone. Okay, so we have given the base with the yellow and then added details with the orange. Now we are going to give the details with the umber and the orange tone. So umber will be more, orange will be little less. So with that, we will be giving the final details for the tree. You can still add 2 more layers also if you want to give a detailed version of your tree. Like orange will be more. So for this second layer, we have added orange and yellow, pretty much the same amount, and then we have got this tone. Next can be like orange, you can take 90%, yellow you can take 10% and give another coating in the bottom. Next, you can take the umber and then orange to give a final detailings. So like that, you can add how much ever layer you want. It depends upon the precision of perfection you want to give. It is too wet. Let's just mix the color first. So for this one, what I'm going to do is, so you can see, able to see this brown, right? This is the burnt umber. So I'm going to take this color and then mix it with this orange itself, because we're not going to use that tone. Now you can see the darkness of the color which has been done. So this only we are going to use it. If you want, you can change the brush, or if you're comfortable with this big brush itself, you can use, because this is going to be a slight minute details. I'm going to use a very tip of my brush only for this one, not like a previous layer. Like I'm not going to dab it completely. It is going to be a slight details. So for this detail, you can just come out of the trees also, because trees will not be having a perfect shape, right? It will be like irregular. So that just dab the tips alone. You can able to see the points which I'm keeping. The points will get smudged off, like that only it should be. It is still very wet, so only it is getting smudged a lot. But never mind, it also gives a pattern. That is very good. So you can able to see the pressure which I'm giving. For the before tone, how I given the pressure is like this. Okay. Yeah. So like this, I have given the pressure. You can able to see the dab size. For this tone, I'm just giving like this. You can see how the dot and then the pressure has difference. So the last tone will be kind of this tone. Like we are going to just give a pointed over it, so that will automatically get spread. You can able to see the point is not seen, but you can able to see how the brown gets merged with your previous tones. So automatically you will get from a lighter to darker tone inside. You can just dab here and there outside the rim to give some difference. Not a perfect curve will be there for the trees. It will look so odd. Next we will do the green tree. For that one, we are going to mix the colors for that. See, there is a lot of water, so I'm just going to take the water with my dry brush. I have just taken it. Since it is not dry, so I have just taken it. The center also, it's very dry. I mean the difference is not seen now, since it got smudged off. So So once the tree like this, it has been done, what you need to do is we are going to draw the tree stem, the trunk of the tree. For the trunk, you can take the umber brown directly also. Just mix some water. In this palette, you can take the dark brown or the center brown. Either thing you can take. It should be watery, but don't take so much of water in your brush. For this one, you can take a smaller brush also if you're not comfortable with a larger brush, because we're going to use a smaller stem. See, even the trunks will not be straight, it will be having different layers. So make sure you're drawing with the different layers. This is going to be the first layer. Okay, so now these trunks are going inside this tree and then it will be coming out, right? This pattern you need to follow or it will look odd. So it is coming like this and then it is going like this. Same way this is going like this and then coming. Once it is dry, we can able to add the details inside. That is, inside also few branches will be seen. So that now I'm going to make it look thick for my trunk. So once the layers are dry, you can add some twigs inside. See this medium is not dry. Once it is dry, it will be looking like a thick line which has been running. Yes, I hope the top layer is okay. No, it's dry. All the mediums are wet. I guess we will complete the green tree and then we will come back so that to add the twigs. So it needs to get dried. So make sure that when you're drawing the branches, this branch will be going and continuing inside and then it will be coming out. You cannot just randomly draw the branches. It will look odd for the final image. Okay, for the tree trunk, what you need to do is the basic layer we have given and the same thing. Which side the light are going to be, the opposite side will be the darker tone. So I'm going to consider my light source from my right side so that what happens, the left side will be little more darker. So I have just added the darker to my left side of the tree. So this is how a simple tree will be done. We'll just move on to the same process. I'm going to do only this bush alone, that is the tree bushes alone. I will just do with the green and then we will move on to a natural scenery. So for that, how we are going to do is, the same thing for the green. You cannot take the green directly. You need to mix the green with the yellow. With that combination only you need to take. For that, the same thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a lot of yellow now. The basic, lot of yellow. Take the palette in a separate thing. Okay, mix it. The base is always a lighter tone. So the bases will be with the yellow. And then slightly orange. Sorry, green. So now I'm going to give the base similar to the one which we have given in the first thing. So I'm going to make it as a very big bush. The first layer should be watery and flowy and transparent kind of thing. It should not be very thick. Yes. So I guess this is fine for that. It needs to dry. This one I'm going to do the branches. So here and there you can just draw some twigs which is popping out. So these twigs will be drawn only once if all the lines are dried off. If it is not dried, then it won't be looking like a twig. So like this, it will be done. So like this, you need to add it up. So coming back to this one. So once it is somewhat dried up, we are going to add the greenish yellow, that is mixture of green and yellow. We have already mixed yellow and green. So I'm just going to take a little bit of green and then mix it here to make it a greenish yellow. And then one second. And then the same process, you just need to repeat how we have done for the previous thing with the orangish green. This is with the green. You can just mix the color and then you can just try it by yourself. You can just play with the watercolor. There are different techniques and tricks are there in watercolors. So this is the green base. After this green base, once it is semi-dry, not completely dry or not completely wet, you will be adding the green, the darker green to it to give the details. The same like how we have done with the umber kind of thing, you will be adding the details to the bottom. Don't use the watercolor as the poster color because many of them will make a mistake. The watercolor specialty is that the transparency, that is how flowy your paint is looking, that much beauty it will add. You can just paint a picture like a poster color also using the watercolor, but there is no use. It won't be looking so nice also. It can be done with the poster color itself, but when you are using the watercolor, make sure it is just very watery and then it is mixing well, and then it should be kind of a transparent here and there. That only will give so much of beautiness. So that is the similar thing. Once it is dry, you will be adding the branches just like how we have done it here. So this is how a tree cannot be drawn only by using the green color. Always the layers needs to be added from the light to the darker tone. So this one you should remember. And what other things what you can do is you can just use your water and then I'm just applying water to the surface. Okay. You can just try this out. If you are going to do any mandala works or this will act as a background. So after applying water, what you do, take different kinds of pen colors, and then keep the points and see how it is getting smudged, and then how well it will these are the things which will be used for the backdrops. The color will get smudged off very beautifully, and it will act very good. The paints what you're taking also, it should be watery, it should not be thick. Once it gets dried, it will be looking light, and it will be like a very subtle backdrop. So once you do this backdrop, this will act as once it is dry, it will be looking like a very light background with a mixture of colors. So above that, you can paint whatever you want. Like if you want to do some sketches, that is any images kind of thing, which needs a very a light background or something, this can be done. Or even you can do mandala designs over it. That also can be done. So watercolor is not only to paint something like this, you can also use it as a background for any images which you want to sketch it out. Mandala is one of the big example which will be, most of them will be using. A subtle background wash with the watercolor will be given. Above that, they will be drawing the mandala design. Okay, another example which I want to show you is this image. As you can see, this is one close-up shot of a tree. But how you can do this one is done by using the layers. Okay, only the green mixture of green and yellow has been used here. But the first thing what will be done in this is, first you will be drawing the leaves. That is, first for the frame, you will draw the frame, and then the leaves, if you see closely, there are darker leaves which are inside. Okay, these darker leaves will be there. For the darker leaves, first you will draw the leaves wherever you want. You will draw the outline of the leaves, and then you will just color that leaf in a very light way. That is these things. These are the things which are light. First thing, we will be lightly, you will be sketching it up, and then background, you will be giving a very light background. That is, you will be adding the layers only. Not you won't be starting with the darker tone here. First thing, lighter color, lightish green you will be giving. Next layer, once it is dry, again you will draw certain leaves. Okay, that leaves will be little darker than the previous leaf color which you have given. And then you will add another one darker layer around wherever it is again emptiness. Again, you will add the leaves. You will be adding the darker kind of leaves. See here, these you can able to see leaves which are behind this lighter tones. These are the tones which are added in the previous thing. You will add that, and then you will finish it off these things. So like this, you will need to add a layer by layer by layer. It will take like at least some 6 layers to get this overall image. So this is the first leaf which I have been drawn. This one, and then this one. You can, the light tones and all the first leaves I have drawn, and then I have given a very light wash at the back. After that, I have drawn these leaves, these second green tones. I have drawn this one. Again, I have given a little darker green. After that, I have drawn these darker shades here and there, and then a little darker background. Again, the darker, the typical very dark leaves, and then I have given a very dark green to the background, and then I have completed it. Okay, this is how the layer by layer you need to add ons to your watercolor. Now what we can do is, you can take one fresh paper. Let's do a watercolor natural scape. One second. So you can take a small watercolor paper. Yes, and Another important thing is, see, for doing this one, make sure the GSM of the paper is more than 260, or else that much layers will not withstand in a normal paper. The paper will get torn easily. Okay, so yes, I have taken one A5 sheet. Okay, we are going to paint a natural scape in that. For that, before we paint a natural scape, what we are going to do is we are going to give a wash, that is water wash for my background. I'm going to take away clean water. You can also change the water. Don't use the previous one. So our background is going to be like a sunset or sunrise. Okay, we are going to have a red, orange, yellow background. Okay, so I'm going to take a larger brush now. Say for example, it is the size of 24. I'm going to use only water for the background. So I'm going to take a larger brush. You can take a flat brush if you're having. So I'm going to take a water, okay, full water, and then just wash your sheet completely with that water. See, for this one only I told you can have your paper vertically. I will tell you why. So you can just wash your paper till the 3/4 of the paper until you reach a certain bottom. You can just wash your paper with heavy water. Okay, finish it off. Now you can take, I mean, the water must be, I mean, the paper must be wet. Okay, then only you can able to do. Now what I'm going to take is, I'm going to take my red. So the topmost, it is going to be like red, orange, yellow. You can see how the red is getting spread. So for this only, if you're going to take, I mean, if you're going to keep your paper vertically, what happens? The smudging will get automatically. That is, if I tilt my paper down, automatically the red will come down and mix with the next color, and then you don't need to do any extra work to get it smudged with the orange tone. It will automatically get smudged off. Only for this background wash, you can keep your sheet in a vertical way, not for any designs. For the watercolor, it is preferable to keep in a horizontal way for all your designs. So next color is orange. Your background should be pretty much lighter only, because that is the watercolor's effect. If it is darker, that it will become a poster color kind of thing. I'm doing it horizontally, so you can able to see a slight stroke which I'm doing. If I'm doing it vertically, automatically these lines will get mixed up. How watery the surface is looking, that is the thing which you need to attain in this. The top alone, if you want, by the end you can add a little darker tone. So this surface needs to dry completely for you to start any other work. So this is the backdrop which I was telling. So these kind of backdrops will be used for the mandala designs. Okay, once this backdrop is done, you can just draw a mandala so that your mandala will not be having a plain background, which will be having a different set of background. GSM paper which I was using, this is like a one folder. So this one shouldn't happen. So only a GSM of the paper should be minimum 240, so that it will be thick. Like this kind of thick. It's kind of a chart paper. So again, you can take a pointed brush. Either you can take the watercolor, so if you are going to take a watercolor, make sure this backdrop is completely dry, or else you can wait. Because if you're using a watercolor black, if you're going to keep a brush over here, it will get smudged off. Okay, so make sure it is completely dry. I'm going to use acrylic paint only. So acrylic black I have taken, because acrylic will not get mixed up with any color. So acrylic black, and then you can mix a slight of brown with it, so that it won't be like a very pitch black. Okay, you can give a base. Whatever the base you want to give, you can give it. So this is going to be my base. See here, you can able to see if it is, the background is not dried up, you can able to see small smudging is happening. So you need to wait until the layer gets dried off. I have mixed my wood with my acrylic paint, so only it is getting smudged. If it is going to be a full acrylic paint, it won't. So if you are using a watercolor, wait for some times until it gets dried off. So how much distance you want for your land to be, you can just cover it up with black and brown. So it is going to be completely dark in the bottom. Above that, we are going to draw some trees. Some very nice, very beautiful sceneries we will draw. So that you can take a pointed brush. Make sure the brush is not very watery. You can clean your brush with your tissue paper or any sheets. Now let's draw, start from the corner. I hope it won't get smudged off. Yep, so draw it very patiently. I'm using only my tip of my brush. So you just need to it's a coconut tree. So the end of the coconut tree will be little bulgier than the top. So this is going to be my stem. For the branches, for that, what you need to do is just draw some strokes first. Draw the strokes first, and then we will draw the leaves of the coconut tree, and then we need to draw the leaves. So for that, just draw the, see how I'm just using my tip of my brush, so that just give it a stroke on both the sides. You can able to see how flowy that is. That's just the pencil stroke. Okay. Automatically, it will be looking like a branches. So like this kind of coconut trees, you can add whatever the backdrop you want. You can add a house over here, or a very big tree, or some human being standing. That depends upon your own creativity. Or else you can just draw like a number of trees here in the front. That will also make it as a very good back, I mean, like a natural scenery. The coconut shapes, I mean, the coconut tree shapes will be irregular, so that in that shape also you can just play with it. Height of the tree, everything matters. Whatever you want, you can just do it. Make sure that you're not leaving any gap in between these strokes, okay? Because since it is the coconut tree leaves, everything will be like so near to each other. Like this, you can complete it. You can draw another big tree also, not necessarily to have a very big coconut tree. You can have some different kind of tree. Compared to the coconut tree, I'm drawing it very small. You can use thin brush, small 1 point or 2 point, so that to have a very small branches. If you're comfortable with a larger brush, you can use it, or else you can change your brush sizes. Make sure you draw a lot of twigs coming out, because trees will be having a lot of twigs, branches, everything. Again, if you're not comfortable with drawing the branches and then things, don't worry, you can just draw the leaves. For the leaves, you just need to use the tip of your brush and then keep these dots. And then hide all those branches. If your stem is going to be thick, make sure your tree size is this much big, okay? Because if the trunk is big, means the bush also will be little bit higher and larger. So you need to do that. If your trunk is alone big and then tree size and shape is very small, it will look very bad and then it will spoil the image. Just the tip alone I'm using to dab it. Full spaces you need to cover. if you're drawing the entire branches and twigs and all, only by the edges you will be dabbing. If you're not comfortable with these kind of branches to draw, you can just cover these all these portions with this kind of leaf. Make sure the bottom portion is very dark. The same concept only. Bottom will be dense, the top will be little more slightly dense than the bottom. Like this you can add, and if you want you can add any detailings also. That will be. So yes, so this will be the natural scenery with the help of the watercolor background. Just a tick that will indicate like a bird kind of thing. Okay, the same kind of backdrop can be done using your blue shades also, like dark blue, like a violet mixed blue, and then light blue, like the hues of the blues can be done, and then the same kind of backdrop can be, we can complete it. And one more tip for this one is when you're going to do these kind of watercolors, you need to have the edges, right? Say for example, you can able to see the exact edges has been done for this sheet. For that, you can use the masking tape. See, these kind of tape, which will be available in the normal stationery shops also. First, you need to tape the edges of your sheets, okay? So first you can just take your masking tape and then cover your edges completely like this one, and then you can just paint it over it. Okay, you can paint it over it. For all the borders, you can just stick your masking tape and then you can paint it, and then at last you can just remove this masking tape and then you can use it as your border also. And this one is the blue background which I told you. The same kind of things with the dark blue to the light blue with the natural sceneries that can be done. Okay, you can also try it with different colors for as the background wash. So yes, so that's all for today. In 1.5 hours I could able to teach only this much. So I hope you guys have understood something and learned some new techniques. Ma'am, is there any questions that needs to be answered, or is everything fine?
Divya, we'll ask some students to come and say what they have understood. How did they feel?
You're not audible.
Ma'am, we'll call up some students, or like we'll just call up some volunteer to tell how did they feel about the work.
Yes.
Yes.
So can I have volunteers, or should we pull it up?
Ma'am, can you come on video, please?
Yes, one second. 1 second.
Students can just lift and show what you have done till now. 1 or 2 students. I think we will call out the names. Mansi Panda. Can you unmute? Yeah. Can you just lift and show what you have done?
Yes, I have not done anything.
Why?
It's my first time with watercolors, so I was quite nervous.
Okay, that is
and
why
it is just a training. I have poster colors.
Okay.
I have poster colors, so I was quite nervous that I'll spoil everything. So I'll try and post the video, photo.
No. See, this is a hands-on session for you to explore. You're not going to become an artist here. So you should try along with the expert. Only then you will come up with your queries, right? Isn't it?
You can try that with the poster color also. Okay, I mean, like
Ma'am,
a
I
slightly
was
different.
having a that. Can I have that background with poster color that last you taught, no miss? That background.
Mansi, first you should try and work. Yes, there is no point in just listening to a lecture in a workshop. This is a hands-on session, so you're recommended to have the tools ready and use it. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Can we have Madangi?
The rose has come out very good. For the trees, you have used a lot of paint, like you have used a lot of thick colors for it, so that the lighter shade is not seen. The background should be very much lighter, and then at bottom of the dark background should be added. Very good attempt for the rose.
Any of the boys? Varun Prakash? Show. Nothing is seen. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the petals have come out very good. The trees and then the natural scenery.
Everyone can just show your work on the screen directly so that we can just see overall picture of
We
everyone.
will go for gallery view and we will see. Everybody can just lift your sheets and show it.
Hold it for at least 2 minutes so that we can just take a screenshot.
So that we can take a picture of your.
Vocal, the rose looks very good. Show.
Yes, the rose is looking very good.
I'm going to put you on spotlight. Show your video. Thank you, Gokul.
Has come out very good.
Yeah.
Good work. And all of you have done very good work and beautiful choice of colors. I can see a lot of colors you have done, and
Adidas.
yeah,
Okay.
I can see one red color tree, red shade of tree. Very good. Yes. Happy that you guys have learned something new.
Namrata has a green tree. I mean, red tree, I guess.
Yes.
Wait, I'll put you on spotlight. Hold on, Namrata.
Yes, that is one different kind of tree. And your trunk is looking very big. That alone, that size alone, you need to reduce it, okay? Yes, good attempt.
Any other queries, students, which you want to be addressed? We are running short of time. Professor Karthik, I think you can go ahead with the...
Divya, thank you so much for today. You have made it again.
Thank you so much for
We wish to rope you in for future coming workshops also. So hope to see you soon. Thank you, Divya. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the faculty, and thank you so much for calling me for this very good opportunity. So I hope you will see in another workshops in the future. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Divya.
Divya.
All the very, very best for all the students.